Hello everybody, this is a tournament excursion video, I don't know. So I'm at Factorum in Warminster today, just because it's a local place to me, and I'm playing Hierotek Circle. That's it. I have nothing else to say, except there is something that I did not think about. So I posted a poll on my channel saying, what should I play? Hierotek Circle, Commandos, Phobos, or Kasrkin? Because those are the four teams that I'm currently most interested in playing. The Hierotek Circle are the ones that I've played the most, so I was like, that makes sense. I'll play them. I've only ever played Hierotek Circle, obviously, into the Crit Ops pack. However, because the Crit Ops pack is not widely available to the world, tournaments aren't running that. And so when I sat down and thought, okay, I'll take Hierotek Circle because I don't have to think about the stats. I know what they do. Whereas everything else, I do need to think about a little bit. And for Phobos, which are the ones I actually should have taken today, there are two models I haven't finished painting. So I will probably fix that tonight. So Hierotek Circle, I sat down and I was like, okay, what are the old missions? I've forgotten the missions. I've forgotten what the actual archetypes are. So I had a look and man. So even in Crit Ops, in the Crit Ops pack, I had accepted that I'm running the worst team in the game. So fine, I'll lose the missions, but maybe I'll win one, right? No, not playing these old missions. And that's a little bit of a downer, you know, because I know that the only way I'm going to get a win is if I play someone and it's their first ever game and they literally don't know what to do. That's a pretty bad state for the Hierotek Circle or any team to be in. So, look, we all know that, you know, GW is doing every 3 months we get a balance patch. But, yeah, I guess it hasn't quite come soon enough, you know. So anyway, this is, I phoned them up yesterday to find out how many people are coming. I think they've only sold like 5 tickets, and I know that one of them's dropping, so it's 4 players, and it's going to be a little round robin, which means we'll all just play each other. So it's 3 rounds, and that's great. That's exactly what I want. I'm not some die-hard competitive. I'm not going to a tournament unless it's 50+ players, right? I just want some chilled out games. Also, it's come to mind, I'm terrible at planning my life, essentially, if you can't have a YouTube channel about Kill Team. Clearly, I'm not good at planning my life. But this weekend, next weekend, and the weekend after, and the weekend after that, there are tournaments that I can get to on all 4 weekends if I so choose. So I thought it might be fun for me to just do a tournament every weekend for the next month. See how I vibe on that. I don't know why. It's not a case of, am I going to improve? Like, am I going to get better? No, don't think that matters. Maybe I just want to play some Kill Team. I don't know. So anyway, let's dive into it. And I guess I'll come back in a moment and show you how my first game went. Hierotek Circle. Gonna be great. Okay, so I just played Josh, my Hierotek, because I'm obviously always playing Hierotek Circle, in his Legionary. He was a younger gentleman of 10, maybe 12, and he was a little bit shaky on the rules, and he hadn't even brought any conceal tokens with him. So it was essentially a teaching game, which I managed to win. Hopefully just here, I'll be putting up the board we were playing on and then also the score. You know, it was a cool looking inside sort of board, but we weren't playing into the dark rules. It was just, this is the board. On this particular board, I managed to score central control pretty okay. I was a bit scared about that because obviously being so confined, he could have just gotten a bunch of charges on me, but he didn't quite know how to do that. And then I managed to get hold the line again. That became quite an easy thing to score because it was a little bit hard for him to move up the corridors. But really, it was a teaching game. So an easy first game, which I probably should have won a little bit more convincingly than I did, because it totally could have gone either way. But yeah, okay, let's go back to it, where I think my next round, I'm into Ken and his Vet Guard. So I just played Ken with his Vet Guard. So this was his second ever game into me playing Vet Guard. Ken is a regular opponent that I play with. I don't know what happened to him today. He's normally better, but I managed to take the win on this one. The reason why is because Turning Point 1, a little bit because of the board we were on, but also just, I assume he thought I wouldn't see the sight lines or something. He left some guys open for me. I saw that he deployed them that way because I was the attacker, so I got I was the attacker, so I got to pick. I got to deploy after him. I saw that there were multiple models not within cover, and because he's a regular opponent, I was ready to play a pretty tight game against him. You know, against Josh, I had been like, he moved every model like an extra 2 inches. He was 2 inches away from cover. I let him have a cover save, etc. But against Ken, I was pretty ready to say, like, no, he doesn't get a cover save because you're 1.25 inches, 1.16 away from that cover. Because that's how we would normally play quite tight games. The man fell to pieces. I don't know what happened, to be honest. I will say, in his defense, basically Turning Point 1, I saw he had a load of pieces out. So I had my Cryptek, who had the Aaaand stave, so the Chronomancer with the Aaaand stave, the Aaaand stave, with the blast, lethal 5-up stun. I just wrecked him. There you go. Interestingly, on this map, I suppose for myself in the Hierotek Circle, I normally am thinking 3D chess-wise, my Aaaand and my Cryptek should be as far away from each other as possible, so that I can always use their magnification conduit. Magnification conduit lets you re-roll a number. So if you roll a bunch of 2s, you can say, I will re-roll all of the 2s. But then also, you'll get lots of cool shots from different parts of the board. But in reality, that never works. And in this one, I just put them right next to each other. So yeah. And since there were so many options for me to shoot, I just got to get lots of rerolls. It was brutal. Like the second activation of the game, I took off his Plasma, Melter, and Hardened Veteran, I think. And then equally in the first turn, no, that was all I killed Turning Point 1. No, I got his demo as well. Yeah. So I got 4 kills Turning Point 1. It wasn't good for him. That's what I'm saying. And it wasn't like I killed 4 troopers. I killed the guys that he was going to kill me with. It was a bit of an issue with the board. Also, his first time playing a fresh team. So yeah, there you go. So I managed to pull out the win on that. Next, I'm going into the final player to complete the round robin, who is playing, are you ready for it? Intercession. From the Compendium. Space Marines, baby. And I've spoken to him and I'm like, do you know there's an intercession team? He's like, yeah, but I don't know, I just want to keep it simple. I was like, fair enough. Yeah, you know what? Kill team is pretty scary if you look at any of the spec rules. Yeah. So I was like, okay, fair. Anyway, I'm going to go play that. I've got to be honest, a little bit concerned because, like, what if I lose to Space Marines? Okay, anyway, let's go find out. Okay, and I'm back at the end of El Tornemante. It was very good. I have won the tournament. Anyway, how did the last game go? So, playing into... I'm not going to call them intercession. Playing into Space Marines, where he took 6 intercessors. Yeah. I beat him. I think we were playing... Is it Master of the Terminals? The one where there's 4 objectives on the center line and then 1 like near each deployment, and you can move up to it, activate, or whatever it's called, and then if you want to, pick it up. And then you just score everything right at the end of the game. Bad mission, first off. Not a good mission at all. Terrain, I'll throw that up here, right? Man, that was a tough deployment. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Going to be honest with y'all. He could have just taken me off the board. Like, that totally could have happened. Anyway, every turn I played retain 1, regardless of whether or not I'm in cover. That saved me multiple times. That's a really good ploy. And then I wasn't rolling very hot, but I think he was rolling a little bit worse than I was. Not super bad, but he got some poor rolls. Yeah. No, he got some bad rolls. Anyway, super cagey turn 1, because we both knew as soon as we step out, we're going to start trading, and neither of us want to trade. Long story short, he eventually stepped out, and like, honestly, he fluffed his... He played Bolter Discipline, and he just fluffed it. And I guess on the back of that, I started to then get some shots. Not that my first shot was suddenly a kill. No, I had to shoot him multiple times on every model. You know, there was no one-shot kill here. But, yeah, he eventually, turning point 4, he had 1 model left on the board. And I managed to grab every objective apart from 1 that he held and 1 that I just didn't pick up. He did kill my Cryptek. This was the first game that I lost my Cryptek in. Now that's important because normally I just lose my Cryptek turn 1 in every game I play. However, this time I was being very, very conscious to never have my Cryptek too far extended, but still have him doing work by being on engage, etc. Except I was going to use cortical subjugation, which is you can essentially save your protocols, put 1 attack onto, 1 shooting attack onto a nearby immortal. Ended up never using it, but I was ready. He did kill my Cryptek though. Why didn't I pass off? Good job me. Needless to say, I either diced everybody or, yeah, let's just say I diced everybody. And that's it. That was my first of 3 or 4 tournaments this month. Hierotek Circle, OP broken. The question now is, do I go... So, obviously, I had a learning game. I had a game against someone that was playing his team for the first time. And I had a game against someone that was playing Compendium Space Marines. Intercessors. It was just a chilled casual player. So this was just a super chilled casual day. To call it a tournament sounds grandiose. Sounds, you hear tournament, you think competitive. It's not the way it is. The problem is you never know what environment you're going into, you know? I often make the same complaint about narrative games. I say, there's so many different ways to play narrative, and some people play narrative in a way where they're like, oh, narrative rules, I can break the game more, great. And it's like, yeah, that's not really fun for me. But the same can be said about competitive tournaments. And that's what this was, well, this was just advertised as a tournament. And I think that most people think tournament, that's a competitive event. They haven't put beginner tournament. They haven't put narrative tournament. They haven't put casual tournament. They've said tournament. So that's a tournament. That's just as much of a tournament as a big, 30-player Shark Tank tournament. They're both a tournament. It's cool. It is what it is. I enjoyed my day. I got 3 games in. That's actually all I care about. I wanted to add a little something in after I said it. Because I was feeling a bit odd, right? Like, you know, I came first in a small tournament. Tournaments are there to be won. But I don't feel good about it. I want to talk about that just very briefly. Obviously, I'm a big proponent of losing games, as you know, and as I live my truth, let's just say that. So anytime I win, I feel a bit bad, you know? So there's a big difference in it, right? Because we've got to keep in mind, so this isn't a big tournament where I know all the players and I know that they are there to win and they play multiple practice games, any practice games. And so they want to play the best, they want to beat the best. And if you were to say to them, hey, by the way, just so you know, I could have beaten you, but I chose not to. That would rob them of something that they wanted from that tournament. I mean, they'd still want that win. They wouldn't take it back, but they wanted to beat people, not to be handed wins. So, you know, that's the kind of the Shark Tank concept there. But also, when you come to these... So, previously, my past few games have been... I've had, 3 games where I have essentially been a coach to the player that I was playing across. This was when I was at Vanguard Tactics and Play on Tabletop. And I can't tell you how all of those ended, because it's also not relevant how they ended, like whether I won or lost. But in multiple games that you will see if you go and watch them on their channels, you might see me not using rules, or you might see me making silly mistakes. And it's because if I didn't do that, it would have been a bad game on the stream. Great game in the tournament, bad game on stream. Recorded, sorry. And I like that. I like to lose, but I like to know that I lost by my own choice. Or won, but I made a critical decision at some point that I'm not going to play my best. That, to me, feels really good. And then I don't care if I win or lose, because at that point it's pure theatrics. But yeah. In this tournament where I won 3 times, I just went for it. I was like, okay, well, I can tell I'm going to win, and I'm going to win. And I don't know, it felt a bit meh. I'm not saying I wanted to lose, but for example, perhaps what I should have done instead is get to a point where I realise I'm going to win, and then pull it in. And try to win by 1 point, you know? And I think that I would actually feel better if I did that. Now, there is a minor issue there in that I was playing Hierotek Circle, the worst spec op team in the game. And so I didn't feel like I was confident enough with my team to be able to do that. In the other games that I talked about, I was playing Kaskin into Pathfinders, and then I was playing Legionary into Intercession. And so I got to a point in those games and I saw rein it in. But in this Hierotek Circle, I wasn't sure. Even into the totally new guy, Josh, in his Legionary, couple of dice and he'd have had me, you know? It wasn't as clear cut as the scores show. So anyway, all I wanted to add in here, this little intersection, was just I feel better when I do want to win, but I want to get to a point where I know that I will win, and then I don't care. Okay, all right, back with the rest of it. I'm playing on Monday, my regular game night, and I'm probably playing on Wednesday, my regular game night, and then I'll be doing another tournament next Sunday as well, which I assume is a 3-round, I guess. So the question is, what do I want to play this week So Monday and Wednesday will be my practice games. Sunday is going to be, I'll play the same team there. So 2 practices and then a real game. What shall I play? I've done my Hierotek. Aced it, nailed it, lovely. What next? I'm leaning towards the Phobos. Don't know why. I guess I just like my Alpha Legion colour scheme on them. I want to play them. Probably won't do Kassakin. Might do Kroot. Yeah. No intercession. We know how that goes. I'm not that kind of player. Play on, player. Drop a comment letting me know what you think I should play at the next weekend's tournament. Cheers. Why do I suddenly want to play loads of teams? I might play High Fleet. Okay. Phobos. My Alpha Legion converted Phobos. Or High Fleet. Wormcult. That's who I'm thinking of. Not to play, sorry. I have the team, but not to play. Why? Why Wormcult? They're not doing well, and it might be fun to play them. But no. High Fleet. Or Phobos. Okay, cool. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Andy from a channel. You might know me from other such channels as this channel that you're watching right now. Or my 40k channel, Full Scale Wargaming, where I haven't posted in a very long time. Alright, well, cheers. Have a good one.